Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video for today. So we had AMD's earnings report and earnings call was done. We did a huge live stream, Jose, Amit and myself. I know, too long, I didn't watch. So here's everything you need to know. First up, stock is down after hours. Why is that? Is it because it missed? Is it because it was a bad quarter? No, actually beats across the board for AMD as predicted, as expected. Very easy to beat those numbers if you've been following the company. And so you might ask yourself again, well, what was the issue? Again, no issue with the company. Maybe yes, an issue. First of all, the market. The market on Tuesday has taken a dump. Stock was already down 3.7%. Other stocks were down quite a lot as well throughout the day. Implied move for AMD going into the report was around 8%. Now we're only down around 3%. Of course, when the markets will open on Wednesday, things can be way more volatile. Why has the market been red? I have not seen a specific issue. Is it an AI scare? Is it a liquidation event? Is it because of the prolonged government shutdown? Maybe all of the above. But going back to AMD here specifically, AMD year to date has more than doubled. Okay, AMD year to date is up 100% after the 3% drop right now. 100% has doubled. Of course, more recently, over the last 3 months, stock is up 38%, or the past month is up 19%. And so let's go over everything you need to know about AMD's quarter. Comments that were made on the call. Spoiler alert, not much, because next week we have an analyst day. So a week from today, we're going to have an analyst day with a lot more information. And that's the problem of this earnings call, is that we felt that we didn't really get that much from them. It's all about, okay, next week, analyst day, we're going to share way more information. It's a shame, but I guess it is what it is. You'll just have to wait 7 extra days. Of course, we will cover that event here on the channel. But hey, without further ado, hit all the buttons. Would really appreciate that. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. All right, I'll first start off with maybe my expectations, right? Something I said last week. This is what I was looking for. More information on the OpenAI deal, actual AI revenue for the year, timeline for the MI450, server and client business momentum, gaming and embedded, signs of acceleration. So I'll start with the last one here. Gaming, yes. Embedded, still no. Server and client business momentum, yes, it is doing quite well. Timeline, MI450, second half of 2026. It's going to ramp quite quickly. Actual AI revenue for the year, that's a big no, even after the back and forth with Stacy, the analyst, that yes, sounded aggressive, let's say, or pushy. But if you've been hearing the earnings call for AMD, you know that he's the one that really tries to get answers from management. Didn't really get those from them. He did say that he had $6.5 billion previously, which if it is true, it's not good, because 2024, we exceeded $5 billion. Starting 25, going to 25, analysts had, I think, $12 billion or so, close to $12 billion for the year. That dropped then to $8.4 billion. And so if he gets closer to $6.5 billion, although Gene did say that the number that he gave is not correct. So hopefully it's not correct, because it's going to be higher. But if he gets that number, then I'm assuming we're still far away from the $8.4 billion for this year. Then as for the more info on the OpenAI deal, more on that next week, basically. Looking at revenue. So revenue increased 35.6% to $9.2 billion. Easy beat, okay? A very easy beat. Looking at operating margin and gross profit margin. Of course, last quarter we took a big hit, right? Because of those China issues, we took a big hit, but then if you excluded that, we were basically flat quarter over quarter. When you look at gross profit margin, operating margin, of course, overall, right, when you stretch it out, it has been improving. So we have a revenue growth and margin expansion. Free cash flow goes up as well. That's great. Then data center revenue up 22.3% year over year, $4.3 billion in revenue, right? Oh, but 3 months ago, everybody was screaming, oh, look at this. We were supposed to be second to NVIDIA. Why aren't we not growing? Again, specific reasons, China revenue. Okay, China revenue is the reason why this thing went down so much before. Right now, we are seeing that recovery. Looking at total client and gaming combined, that increased close to 75% year over year, right? Client and gaming revenue is $4 billion for AMD. That's why I keep repeating time and time again. Yes, the whole focus is on data center, of course, because that's the huge growth potential ahead. But currently data center and client and gaming is approximately the same, 4.3 and $4 billion, also high margin. Well, right now it is higher margin than data center. Will obviously change in the future. If you want to split it up, gaming is 1.3, let's call it billion dollars, and then client is here $2.75 billion. That increased 46.2% year over year. You can see clear acceleration of gaming, previously a headwind, now becoming a tailwind for the business. As for embedded, still a headwind. Well, won't call it a headwind, but it's definitely not a tailwind for the business as of right now. Decreased 7.6% year over year, but still, it is, I think, operating margin was 33% or so for the quarter. I'll show you that in a second. If we look at the embedded one, operating margin for the quarter, 33%. Same quarter last year was 40%. Revenue was also higher. They basically say here, decline is primarily due to lower revenue. I do think that once we get this business up and running, you're going to see this help the bottom line for AMD. I mean, if we look at client and gaming, operating margin here as well, 21%, up from 12% same quarter last year, driven by higher revenue, partially offset by higher operating expenses. Then if we look at data center segment, that's actually down year over year from 29 to 25%. But I do say here, it's driven by higher revenue, right? Operating income, partially offset by higher operating expenses, right? Revenue is up, operating margin is down, but operating income is up. But I do still think that this is going to be a high margin business. This one right here, client and gaming, it's also a very good business for them to have. And then yes, the embedded, you will see it's not going to be that much, but if we can go back to $1 billion per quarter at around 40% margin here, I mean, who says no, right? Nobody basically says no. Then for the next quarter, revenue, $9.6 billion, which is approximately what the market was expecting, plus minus $300 million. Now the question is going to be, can we have $10 billion for Q4? Gross margins, 54.5% for non-GAAP. Again, prediction time. Do you think that AMD Q4, they'll hit $10 billion for the quarter? I think it's definitely possible. As for gross margin, this is something that as they ramp up, as they improve, of course, the product mix, I do expect that to go up as well. If you look here at gross margin, non-GAAP 54%, Q3 2024 also 54%. So next quarter, that is going up a little bit. So all in all, I know pretty boring, right? Pretty flat results or comments, whatever you want to call it. But I do think we need to look back and look at the facts. Facts are, this is a growing business. This is a business that is becoming more profitable as well. This is a business that this time next year is going to have a super competitive product, the MI450. It's going to ramp up. It's a complete game changer. This is something that I've been talking about. Jose's been talking about it. I mean, we've been saying that during the live stream. 2026, especially second half of it, is a game-changing time for AMD because the product that they're going to release is, of course, a game changer for them. It's a game changer for their clients. And, of course, it's going to be a game changer here for the P&L. Now, you're going to say, yeah, but that's only for next year. Yes, but until next year, this is still a growing business. Right? This is still a business here. Revenue up 36%, gross profit up 40%, gross margin now up only 2 percentage points. Operating expenses also up 30%, but operating expenses percent of revenue down 2 percentage points. Operating income up 75%, net income up 61%, and diluted earnings per share up 60% here as well on a GAAP basis. On a non-GAAP, these are the numbers. So yes, all in all, you might say, oh, but the stock's reaction is not, yeah, okay, fine. But again, the whole market is down, sentiment isn't great. I do believe that once the government shutdown is over, I think the market goes back into bullish mode. That's just my prediction. Of course, the government shutdown also doesn't help when we need jobs data, when we need market data, right? We need all of that. We're not going to get it until the government is not shut down, or until the government basically reopens. Does it affect AMD? It affects sentiment, right? It affects sentiment across the industry. It affects sentiment around the market as well. But all in all, good quarter for AMD. Unfortunately, the earnings call was pretty boring, but we are getting an analyst day next week. And next week is, I think, when we're going to get a lot more information. Lisa Su has been talking about that $500 billion total addressable market that was previously $400 billion. And every time she speaks about the $500 billion number, she does always say that she seems quite conservative according to other people in the industry. So maybe we're going to get a new number next week. We're definitely going to get a lot more information on the OpenAI deal and definitely a lot more numbers to play with for 26, 27, and probably onwards as well. Last couple of things here, one ROCm related. So AMD launched ROCm 7, its most advanced and feature-rich release, delivering up to 4.6 times higher inference and 3 times higher training performance compared to ROCm 6. The open software strategy is resonating with contributions from key developers like Hugging Face, VLLM, and SGLang. As for the AI-driven server CPU demand, hyperscalers are significantly increasing their general-purpose compute capacity to support growing AI workloads, leading to substantially larger CPU buildouts. This trend is identified as a powerful new catalyst for the server business, with 5th-gen EPYC Turing processors rapidly accelerating adoption and accounting for nearly half of overall EPYC revenue. Again, great. Everybody's talking about GPUs. AMD has also CPUs. That is now seeing a lot more demand than previously expected. Client PC market outperformance, same comments as last quarter, so continued momentum there. Last thing here, and this is of course something that we would love to hear more about next week, but I did say that following the OpenAI deal, AMD has observed an increase in acceleration of interest from other customers, leading to broader and higher scale engagements. This heightened interest is attributed not only to the OpenAI partnership, but also to other factors such as the public display of the Helios rack at Open Compute, which showcased AMD's engineering capabilities. That's of course great to hear and something we've been talking about, right? It's great to have that OpenAI deal, but you don't want to be stuck just with OpenAI, just in case Sam doesn't find the money, just saying. Don't have any shares to sell, Sam. Sorry to disappoint. But yeah, this is also a very, very good thing to hear about. But we'll hear way more about the data center growth next week. And so overall, to conclude, stock is down now 3.7% or so. As you've seen, this is what we said before, 8% on the upside, 8% on the downside. 8% on the downside means $230. On the upside, well, I don't think it's going to happen right now, but that was 271% or so. Now, as for your FYI here, Zeta, double beat, very good quarter. That stock is up 9.2%. Maybe we'll cover it a little bit more tomorrow market open if I have time. BMNR is actually now up 1.1%. I think we've seen a reversal in Ethereum. Shift 4 is up a tiny bit. I would say that this is because of Toast. Toast reported, and Toast has had a double beat, a very good quarter. Shift 4 will report Thursday, so we're going to cover that on Thursday. PayPal is flat, but don't let that mislead you. You know what happens when PayPal is green pre-market of after hours. It never survives. Nebius down 2.7% at the time of recording. Palantir down 2.7% as well. CoreWeave down 1.7%. So we're back at this bottom that we've had at the end of October. Both of them are, of course, reporting, CoreWeave and Nebius, next week. One on Monday, the other one on Tuesday. Then as for SMCI, they also reported fiscal year 26. Well, the fiscal year guidance is 20 or $36 billion. That was previously $40 billion. As you can see, the stock is down. I don't know why people are that surprised, down another 9% or so. It's going to be here at around the 200-day moving average. That's for SMCI. Axon also took a huge hit, a big miss on EPS. As you can see, Axon is, I think it was EPS, Axon is down 20% or so right now, as you can see right here. That was the miss. Axon is a great company that, yes, is just very expensive, and now you get it at a, well, less expensive price. Less expensive price. I'm not saying cheaper price, I'm saying less expensive price. As for Pinterest, last time I'd seen it, that stock was also down. Yep, that stock was also down. After hours, it's down 20%. Reminds me of the post-pandemic period with Pinterest. EPS miss of around 10%, and a weaker guidance. So all in all, that's about it for me with AMD. Yes, stock is down, stock is still up 100% year to date. Good quarter. More comments will be made next week during the analyst day. That's all I've got for you right now. See you all in the next one. Bye bye.